to the latest episode of the Rob Harkavy interviews exclusively on Outnews Global TV. Now, the British art scene has always been an exciting place to be. And it seems to me right now that we're seeing an explosion of creativity. I was at the Start Art Fair a couple of weeks ago. It was incredible. Off to Flux next week. So innovative, exciting art seems to be coming at us from all directions. And I'm thrilled to be joined today by one of the most exciting artists working in Britain right now. I'm delighted she's taken time out from her busy schedule to talk to us. So let us give a massive Outnews Global welcome to Julie Bloom. Hello, Julie.
Hi, thank you so much, Rob. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. Lovely to be here.
Lovely, yeah. It's all downhill from here. That was the zenith. So something I'm already always interested in asking creative people at a time like this is how did the pandemic and lockdown have any impact on your sort of creative juices? Were you inspired? Did you work more? I've spoken to a lot of authors who had complete writer's block when the first lockdown hit. I just wondered if there was any effect on you and your creativity.
I completely went the other way.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, because, you know, I'm used to spending quite a lot of time by myself. I travel alone, I do this alone, I do that alone, you know, single child, blah, blah, blah. And when they said in the lockdown, we're all in it together, I thought, well, we really are now. Do you know what I mean? Welcome to my world. But what I decided I wanted, especially with the street so bare, I thought this is the time to become visible. So I was getting up to all kinds of things, you know. I did an exhibition on the Take Britain while they were closed. I took the liberty of just kind of taking 70 pieces there. I went down into the tube, putting work into the tube, putting it on trains, waving them goodbye. Wow. There's a lot of synchronicity at that time, which was fantastic, because my little mantra was, this is time to become visible. Yeah. And I actually have a picture. I had another accomplice who would come down with me and, you know, on these adventures and so on that we did. And I have a picture on the tube with two pieces of my work here in a mask, obviously, COVID, you know. And then above me, there was a billboard, must have been, you know, that you could see through the window. And above, when I saw the pictures, it was like visible. And I'm like, that's how I know I'm on track, in sync. Yeah. So I was loving it. I got very energized. I'm lucky because I have a very tiny, tiny little flat, but I have two balconies. So when we were all in lockdown, I was able to work on the balconies. I was kind of leaning outside the window, you know, with the paints and everything. Would have three pieces on the go. Yeah, wow. So I felt a completely different way. Yeah. And also, I very much wanted to reach out and offer something. So I did put a little package together for children, but that didn't seem to take. So I thought, what am I going to do? And this idea for my translations came into mind, and I kind of conceptualized this idea of how to connect with other people.
Well, that's the translations initiative is fantastic from what I've seen of it. And I want to talk about that a little later. But first up, whenever I interview an artist, I do my best to look at their work, but obviously online at a time like this, but I try not to read anything, because I want to come to the interview just the same as any other punter, if you like, seeing the work for the first time. So it's quite hard to avoid the written word on a website, but I do try and do it, and that's what I've done in your case. So I might be wide of the mark here in my interpretations, but something that really struck me is your series of cityscapes, and in fact, people, we're putting them on the screen now so you can see what I mean when I say they fascinated me, because they're clearly quite sort of brutal urban landscapes, and yet they have a kind of flow and sort of organicness, which is more akin to kind of the natural world. And I'm just wondering, am I miles off the mark there, or is there an interest with the interface, if you like, between man-made stuff and the natural world?
Yeah, there absolutely is. And well, my father was an architect, so I'm influenced there. So I love buildings,
Yeah.
and I also love nature, and I love energy. So my metropolis, for instance, is very much about metropolis, big city, energy, from electricity, from our, just everything that a metropolis is made up of. And so that's on the wall, it's massive. And it took some time.
Yeah.
And I'm going from one board to another, there's no cheating with me.
Yeah.
But there is work where I'm like gay abandon, but with my cityscapes it's something completely different and very, so when it goes to here, then I'm carrying the lines over, and it's just like having a walk with the pen. So for Metropolis, that's what that's like. Before I started the cityscapes, the black and white, I love Bridget Riley. So I was inspired by her black and white and this, that, and the other. And again, I'm not an artist that actually plans what I'm going to do. I'm very spontaneous and organic that way. I have been criticized for it, but that's just the way I work, So it was really me discovering the city as I went. And people did say, you haven't got anybody in there. It's just the city. Sometimes you incorporate some nature and so on, but there's no one in the city. Why don't you put someone in? So actually I thought, well, they asked me to put myself in. I was like, no, I'm not quite ready for that. So I thought, well, who shall I put in? Why not Marilyn Monroe, right?
Yeah. Well, that's let us come to Marilyn's, because there is a bit of a crossover between your images of Marilyn and the cityscapes, but there's also a lot of standalone Marilyn images. Now, it's nearly six, and I have some in my house, but it's I think almost 60 years, a year shy of 60 years since she died, and she still remains an iconic figure in art. I mean, Andy Warhol was doing it 50 years ago, you're doing it now, and loads of people in between, and all managing to come up, or many managing to come up with original work. Not just an Athena poster version of Marilyn. Why is it, do you think, that Marilyn Monroe, almost 60 years after her death, remains such an iconic figure and an inspiration to artists like you?
Yeah, well, for me, she's amazing. She had that strength, she had that vulnerability, she had that life. In some ways, I'm no star or anything, but in some ways, in a personal way, I kind of identified with her on some levels, as a lot of other women have. And also, I wanted someone that I respected in my piece. And also, I did see also the commercial value, because I haven't been so commercial, and I thought, well, everyone's doing it, but I didn't want to add a kind of not that there's anything wrong with it, but kind of Donald Duck or Mickey Mouse or something like that. And I thought, you know what, she's going in my city. So Marilyn's Walk is one of them. Raw is another one where I've superimposed her into, so that is a digital for a print, and then I hand finish them and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And as I said, I think when we briefly spoke, I've done one with a mask on, but funnily enough, before COVID. So she's masked with the, and glittered. And
what were you, if putting a mask on Marilyn before COVID? What were you saying? Can you put yourself in your mindset back then? Because when I saw it, I just assumed it was a piece inspired by COVID, as anyone would think that. So why did you put her in a mask pre-pandemic? What were you saying?
Okay, so with me, sometimes I don't find, because not with I'm very spontaneous, right? And I kind of go with my feelings and emotions. So often I'm not actually thinking. Actually, there's not a thought. it's more like aha moment when the piece has been finished. So I find that a lot in my work.
You mentioned earlier your translations. And that's really why we're here, because this is something that for me is, the concept for me is truly original. So the floor is yours. Can you tell us what it's all about?
Okay. So it was a way of connecting, as I said, in lockdown, because we were all locked up. And also what I found myself doing is thinking about people that I'd met in life, even so far as 35 years ago, and going, do you know what, with technology, I can just give them a call. So I was surprising a lot of people. And then I thought, what can I do, like, to keep up my artistic practice and also offer something? So I was like, listen, guys, I have this idea, right? I want to make an appointment with you where I will call, we won't chit chat, we'll just get straight into it. We're going to take 5 breaths, or now I've kind of reduced it to 4, but 5 nice deep breaths at the time, to connect to ourselves and to each other. So these were done on the phone. And then I'm going to ask you, did you sense any color? And they won't go into a story about the color. They'll just say orange or whatever they want to do, right? And then I'll say, okay, the floor's yours to share whatever you like. So I had people talking about what it was like in lockdown, in COVID, having a mother in hospital they couldn't see, a death, a birth, a depression, a breakthrough, a breakup, all sorts of things, right? And it was amazing. And so what I would do is I would immediately, when they stopped talking after the 5 minutes or so, I would stop drawing. So basically, I'm listening on the phone and I'm translating what I'm hearing into an abstract piece of art that is their personal, unique translation.
You've kindly made us a video of in your studio to give us an example, give us an insight into some of this work. Shall we have a look at it?
Yeah.
Okay, folks, this is that video.
So today at the studio, I'll just show you, this is a birthday translation I did for myself in September. This here, some of you might recognize this already. This is a story of Afghanistan to UK. This here is a friend of mine who's into his music. This here is another painting, very COVID related. We go to some other of my pieces up here. Okay. So this is one of my favorites. It's a big canvas, black on black. I like this very, very much. Okay, so this is in progress. Another black canvas. Come in. It's much nicer when you come in and see it. Okay, this is. That's a piece I did for a charity in Mombasa, and this was a translation I did for the 2 boys, based, street kids in Mombasa. This is another, hand embellished print, one of a kind. Maryland City. So, and the 2 seats ready for translations back to back. Love you to come to Open Studio. Be very welcome. Yeah. Okay, so the first one is actually a translation I did for myself on my birthday. It was on the 22nd of September, so out of lockdown. So that was my kind of birthday translation, because I'd done about 10 translations for other people. And one day I was feeling a bit low in lockdown, one day. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it for myself. And I did try it for myself. And what I found was that in 10 minutes, 5 minutes of talking, and then just when I saw it, I realized exactly what was bothering me. I actually had been sitting on the fence about something, and the little me was holding up the fence and holding up me. And then there was a picture of my hand that I was quite worried about, of my parents that I was missing. In that time, in that short time, it was so cathartic. You know, it might have taken, you know, if you are going through something, you might think, oh, I'm going to go watch Netflix. You know, one season later, you're still not feeling right. What's going on? What's going on? But this immediately cut through everything.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's great for yourself.
Yeah.
And I got a bit distracted there because, so that's the first one, my birthday translation, and that's full of joy.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I wanted to ask you about, there's a charity angle to it, isn't there?
Right.
What you're doing? What's all that about?
Okay, so what I thought, you know, because what I thought was, this is so great. This is my chance now to reach out to charities. So I had been following a little bit a charity called Gap Kenya in Mombasa. That's how my friends had been to. I was born in Kenya, and I was conceived in a Mombasa mud hut. So, you know, why not Mombasa, right? So, and they look after street boys. So I got in touch with them. I explained, look, I'm doing this translation project. How would you feel about sending me a 5-minute audio of what your charity is about, how you came to do it, a little bit about the boys, which they sent me.
Yeah.
And I then rolled out a 2-meter paper in the studio and listened to the audio and did the drawing. Incredible. And then painted it and then sent them it. And basically for that charity and others, I'm wanting to do translations to bring awareness and so on. So as well, I've actually had donations through so I've managed to send them £200. And
that's incredible. Now you're exhibiting translations, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Where and when? We'll put it on the screen, but tell us.
Yeah. Okay, so the other little thing is that I did something specially for the Pimlico community. So I started doing, I live in Pimlico, and I started doing translations for the people in the community. And so therefore I'm having a show in the little gallery called Cave in Tatchbrook Street on the 12th, the 13th and the 14th of November. So anyone that would like to come, please come. And there'll be very large pieces, very, very large pieces, as well as little weeny translations.
Well, we'll definitely be there for the press preview or whatever. And folks, the link's on your screen right now, so click it. Now, before we say goodbye, this has been great. We have gone so much over time, but I don't care. It's been a great interview. But are you up for a revealing and slightly cheeky quick fire round?
Yes, I am. Can I just add, though, quickly, that if anyone is interested in coming to the show and actually having a translation, all they need to do is book one with me. Right, I'm all yours.
They can do that via your website, can they?
They can, yes.
Okay, we'll get the links on the screen as we speak. So there we go. Now, quick fire round. It's one or the other. Cheese or chocolate?
Chocolate, always.
Oh, nice one. Beach holiday or city break?
Beach, because I love swimming with dolphins.
Ah, yeah. Netflix and chill or party till dawn?
Party till dawn.
Okay. Monogamy or polyamory?
Can I have a bit of both?
Yeah, absolutely. Typical artist answer. And this one's actually quite a raunchy one. I didn't realize to get this one in. Soft and sensual or down and dirty?
Well, I actually like a bit of both as well, please, if you don't mind.
You want it all, Julie. You want it all.
Thank you. Why not?
Julie Bloom, the relentless march of time has beaten us. So all it remains for me to do is to thank you for coming along, for bringing your dazzling smile and your beautiful art to Outnews Global TV, for letting us have a little bit of an insight into your work and your process, and finally to wish you much love, luck and happiness for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.